Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're taking a look at a lens, and the lens we're looking at is the Tamron 11-20 f2.8. It's a constant f2.8 aperture, and it's made for the Sony E mount. I believe they make it for the Fuji X mount now. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe they do. I purchased it for the Sony E mount, and I used it exclusively on my Sony A6700. I could have used it on my ZV-E10. I can't show you it on my 6700 because the 6700 is getting this close-up shot that you see here. I love that camera, been using it for quite a few months now, and I really do enjoy the camera. The lens I've got fitted to it today, just out of idle curiosity if you are interested, is the Sigma 30mm f1.4. I'm using that lens because it creates a nice separation between myself and the background. My wide shot there has been picked up on my Sony ZV-E10, and that's also got a Sigma lens. That's got the Sigma 18-50 f2.8 lens on. I've got a Canon V10 just getting a wide shot up there, and I've got my Sony RX100 getting another wide shot up there. Don't know if I use these other shots, but they are running. And then I've got my little ZV-1, which I use all the time for getting the close-up shots. So it's the Tamron 11-20 f2.8 designed for APS-C bodies. So it's not designed for full frame bodies, hence the reason I've been using it on my Sony A6700. And it's a cracking lens. Now, I purchased this because of two reasons. A, because it's a zoom. It's not a fixed one. I do have the Sony 11mm, but I've got a little bit, just a little bit annoyed sometimes with myself. But I'd go out and it was just a little bit too wide sometimes. So I wanted something that I could zoom in. I've used the 11-18, the Sony 11-18, but that was an f4 aperture. So that wasn't the best in low light. But I saw advertised the 11-20, got it at a great price from Wex Photographic. But this one has the constant f2.8 aperture, which is exactly what I wanted. So it's great for low light. It's also great because it is a zoom lens. So the widest is 11, that's about 16mm in full frame terms, and it goes down to, it goes to 20, which is about 30mm in full frame terms. So it's still wide, but it isn't ultra wide. So effectively, this goes from ultra wide to wide. And I love that, and you'll see why I love it, because I love it for when I go out and about. It's great for doing landscapes, great for doing street photography particularly, because you've got that variation between ultra wide and wide, and I really do like that. It's got a lovely focusing. I use it in autofocus, but it has got a manual focus ring on it if you do want to use manual focus. There is no auto manual focus switch on the lens. In fact, there's nothing on the lens. It is a very simple design. There's no switches or anything on this lens here, as you can see. So you need to use your autofocus, manual focus switch on your camera body. It does keep the lens nice and compact. It is only 335 grams in weight, so it's quite a lightweight lens actually. And that's another reason why I purchased it, because of its lightweight. It really is compact, it's lightweight. It does come with this lens shade, which is, really good. I do like that. The focus is fast, it's reliable, and it's accurate. Certainly has been on my A6700 and my ZV-E10, so I have no reason to doubt that it wouldn't be the same on other Sony APS-C bodies. It is weather resistant. I don't know if I'd want to take it out in storms, but it's certainly weather resistant against rain and what have you, because it has got some weather sealing gasket around the mount of the lens, so you have no problems with that, particularly if your camera's weather sealed as well. So decent for doing street photography because of the weather sealing, and you can feel that go when you mount it on the body. You can feel it's quite a bit tighter because of the weather sealing gasket that's on the rear of the lens. And I say, because it is an f2.8 aperture, it works fine in low light. I quite often use it, use it in aperture priority and just leave it set to f2.8, because the sharpness is great at f2.8. In the centre, also on the edges. So I've had no issues with the sharpness of this lens throughout its entire range, whether it be at 11mm or whether it be at 20mm. I mean, it's a great all-rounder, really is a terrific all-rounder and a terrific lightweight lens. If you have a quick look at some of these images here, we look at here, that's at 20mm and that's at 11mm from the same position. So you can see it's quite a change. It's, you know, the lens does enable you to get that ultra wide look, but as well as getting that slightly more, you know, closer look. Colours are good. And look at the colours there, really good. Handles it really well. So again, these images will be up on my Flickr page. Let's take a look at some I took outside. Again, it's handling the contrast really nice. Everything's really sharp. But what I like about these new Sony cameras, they've got the colour science really well, because they don't look really digital. I don't like the results from cameras that look digital, or you have to turn down the sharpness. Most mobile phones, certainly the iPhone, I have to constantly, pretty much every image, turn down the sharpness of the images. I don't need to do that with the images that come out the A6700. I do shoot in RAW as opposed to JPEG, so I can make adjustments. But it's handling these reds, really strong reds here, really well. And the lens is handling them really well. Now, this lens isn't really a bokeh lens, as you can see here. It does, the background does go out of focus, so you have got that depth in the image, but it's not really, you can see there the depth of the image is really quite nice when you do close-up shots. You can get really nice close images with this lens and still get that lovely sharpness, but you can also create that depth between the foreground and the background. And here you can see here the foreground is out of focus, so is the background, but the actual centre is nice and sharp. In fact, it's beautifully sharp. It's really good. So although it is a wide angle lens, if you're close enough to the subject, you can create quite a nice depth. I wouldn't say, you know, the bokeh is fantastic, but it's pretty decent. You know, it's pretty decent. And again here, if you're doing architecture, sharpness is really great across the whole range, whether it be on the edges or whether it be, you know, in the centre, nice and sharp at the edges, all the way round, and sharp in the centre. So again, a great architecture lens, great lens just to keep in your kit bag if you do need, you know, a wide angle lens. So yeah, and I said what I like about it, I love the quality that came off my Sony 11mm, but it was fixed at 11mm, which is about 16mm in full frame terms. At least with this one, I've got the flexibility of being able to adjust the focal length, and I think that is great. It does trombone, but because it is such a small lens, it's not a huge amount of tromboning there. You can see there it's not huge, so it's not going to have any real impact on what you're doing. But the zoom ring is nice and smooth, lovely and smooth that is. You know, yeah, great lens. So there we go. That's the Tamron 11-20, and I'm going to have to read my notes simply because it's a really long title, but it's a Tamron 11-20 F2.8 Di3 RXD lens. I would never remember that. The Tamron, what is it? F2.8 Di3 RXD lens for the Sony E mount system. These manufacturers do have some really long names. You're never going to remember that, are you? It doesn't roll off the tongue. But it's basically the Tamron 11-20 f2.8. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to take a look at the images on my Flickr page. That would be really useful. You'll find them much better than looking at them on here. And stay tuned for more videos related to video photography, podcasting, so on and so forth. Cheers for now. Bye.